All right, friends, we're going to jump right into GarageBand this week. Some of you may remember that we practiced with this before the break, before spring break, and we were all together in my room, and Mr. Burge's class joined us, and we practiced together. But today we're going to do things just a little different. I'm going to go ahead and open my GarageBand, and depending on what you've done most recently, you may have something that just pops up on your screen. This happens to be where I was. So I'm going to touch the piece of paper in the top left corner, and that's going to take me out of here. And I've got all of my old projects. You may end up looking at a screen that looks like this. I'm toggling between the bottom where it says Recents and Browse, and it just gives me a different look. But today we want to create something brand new. So I'm going to go to the blue plus sign at the top right corner to start a brand new project. And you'll notice at the top, I've got choices. I've got live loops and tracks. And when we were together in my classroom, we worked with tracks. And you may remember how we started with a drummer and we added different instruments on top and we really built a song. Well, today we're going to do something a little bit different. So you're going to touch on live loops and you're going to have the option to pick one of these sound boxes to create a piece of music. And the pieces are already kind of put together for you, but you get to decide what order they're going to go in. So if I click on one of these, I'm just going to pick one for now. It's going to open up a grid of sounds. And this is in the sound library of rock. So we're going to give it a minute. And the way this is built, I've got columns. It's just like a grid, like an XY axis. I've got a grid. So at the top, all the way across, the yellow squares are my drummers. So it's going to have a circle of sounds. The circle just means that it's going to continue until I stop it. So if I start here, circles around all the way till it gets to the top. And if I don't do anything to it, it's just going to keep going. If I touch it again, it's going to stop the sound. So each one of these squares across the top is the drummer. The next row of squares is one of the electric bass guitars. So I could play one of those. Stop that one. Listen to this one. Electric guitar. And check this one out. So all of those have a unique sound when they're played one at a time. If I touch at the bottom where it says number 1, listen to what it sounds like when they all play together. And if I hit stop, it's just going to stop it right where it is. So here's the cool thing. As you're building your music, you'll notice that they've already set us up for success. We already know that if we touch line 1, all of that's going to sound really pretty together. If we touch line 3, line 4, 6, 7, any of those, they're going to sound really great. You might notice just by looking at line 11, do you see how those, the visual grid of what you're looking at, those waveforms, they start loud and then they get softer to where they're just a real skinny line. Let's listen to what that sounds like. You might have noticed that sounds like an ending to the song. So if I wanted to create a song, I could just touch things in any order that I want it to go until I get to an ending. Check this out. So I just created a song based on the squares that were already given to me. And I touched the numbers at the bottom just to give a full sound. But if I wanted to, I could just touch individual squares. Listen to this. Kind of cool. So I'm going to give you some time today to just play with different sounds. So right now I did all of that just in the rock, but you may not want to choose rock. If you want to choose a different style, maybe you want to test out a few different ones. In the top left corner where you see what I call the Netflix button because it looks like a big TV screen with two other choices beside it, I'm going to touch that Netflix button and it's going to give me all these other choices. I'm going to try R&B this time. So I'm going to open it up. It may take a minute to load, and I can do the very same thing. Let's see if we see any endings in here. Do you see anything that looks like an ending? This one doesn't have a defined one. I wonder if this does it. Ooh, that might be a cool ending. So let's see what happens if I create some music this time. And then that time to make it stop, I just touched one of these empty columns at the end down here because there was nothing in there, and that kind of stopped all the sounds at the same time. All right, that's it. Enjoy some time to create. Have fun. Try all the different sounds. See what you like. Do you like it when you play a lot of things all at once or just one square at a time? Practice all the different ways to do it and find your favorite sound because you might want to use that one in next week's lesson. We love you a lot, and of course, let us know if you have any questions.